Um, Hi, my name is James Abrat, and I failed to get a guest. Welcome back to the Failed Podcast. I'm here with my wife, Kate, and I'm just very grateful for my wife being so supportive. I want to thank you for being here. I feel like, yeah, it's true. I failed to get a guest. We actually had a guest lined up, but I understand that it's difficult. This podcast, you talk about failures and stuff like that. So I get how hard it is, but yeah. So I had a guest, and that didn't happen. So now I'm here. I feel like Conan O'Brien. In that one episode where he was supposed to have Kumail Nanjiani. Do you remember that episode? I think we talk about that all the time.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to have Kumail Nanjiani, and Kumail didn't show up. And he just had a show where it was just him and his assistant. And it was an amazing show, but I'm not comedic genius Conan O'Brien. So, well...
Just me.
Well, that's it.
Thank you so much for
watching the podcast. But I'm gonna keep going. I'm wearing Jordan 1s today, and that's the shoe of the day. There, Jordan 1s. Kate here is wearing Nike flip flops, and we're excited about that. Well, what I did was I asked a couple of questions, and by the way, this is going to be a very short podcast. But what we are going to do from here on out is I did send out a poll, and I asked all my, I guess, listeners or viewers if you guys would rather have a 15 to 20 minute or cut it to 15 to 20 minute or keep it to an hour. And that did not help at all because it was exactly 50-50. 50% said full hour.
Actually didn't vote, so that probably would have made a difference.
She's the tiebreaker right now. No. But I guess what we're gonna do, 50% said an hour, 50% said 15 to 20 minutes. So that didn't really help. But I think what we're gonna do from now on is we're gonna put this in YouTube as condensed version. And if you want to listen to the full thing, you're gonna be going to either the Apple Podcast or Spotify. If you don't know, it's there as well. So yeah, we have a couple of questions, and I sent out a poll in Instagram. I asked if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask that, whether it be for me, whether it be for my wife. Doesn't have to be serious, could be messing around. But if you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask those questions. And so far, we have a couple of questions, and she's going to be asking us those questions today. And I don't know if that'll help anybody or if anyone cares. So thank you for those of you watching. Shout out to Nathan Espina.
Thank you, Nathan.
Yeah. Shout out to those that are going to be watching. Probably the 5 of you that's going to watch this one.
Speaking of Kumail, I just opened my Instagram and he's the first one that I saw, and apparently he got to be on The Simpsons last night. So.
Wow. Speaking of Kumail Nanjiani and Conan O'Brien.
Right here.
Conan O'Brien. By the way, do you know about the conspiracy theory with The Simpsons?
What? No.
No, you don't know about
There's
that?
a conspiracy
theory?
Dude,
look, if you research, there are so many things that's happening right now. It's not scary. No. So pretty much there are so many things that's happening right now.
Yeah.
That is being predicted by The Simpsons.
Yeah, I think
I've
heard of this actually.
Like eerily accurate.
Yeah, I think I've heard of this.
Like there's a lot.
Yeah,
like President Trump getting voted, and I'm talking about there are scenes in The Simpsons that were shot in they didn't shoot The Simpsons. Who created that episode that was shown in 1990 something, and it showed Donald Trump being the president and coming down an escalator, and that literally happened. There's a side-by-side comparison, and even they compared it with somebody who's holding a sign that said Trump for president, and it fell.
That's
in the episode,
weird.
And it was at the same exact moment that happened too. So and there are just a lot of things.
Is that on YouTube?
Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna watch it.
Dude, but anyways,
that's really weird though.
No, that's trippy.
How did?
Dude, so people are thinking The Simpsons are time travelers, dude.
What?
You never know.
Or they set up everything.
Hey, do you believe in time travel? Go ahead and put that down below.
The Adam, what is it called?
The Adam Project?
The Adam Project. Good movie.
That is a good movie. But if you believe in time travel, go ahead and put that. Do you believe in time travel? Be honest with me.
Me?
Do you think it's possible?
No, I don't think so. Were you scared of growing up and being independent?
That's a serious question.
Yeah, it is.
Was I scared of growing up and being independent? I actually want you to answer this question as well.
Okay.
Because for me, I think I was not scared of being independent. Actually, growing up, I really wanted to be independent. I remember going to college. You know, a lot of these kids, they go to college and they go to college like 2 hours away or something, or like an hour away. And they're just like, oh, I'm so scared. I was not like that. And by the way, I'm not making fun of you for being like that. I know it sounded like I did make fun of you, but I'm not making fun of you for being like that. Like, you know, like, oh, I'm going to miss my mom and dad. Like, I totally get it. I went to college 6-7 hours away from my parents. And the whole time, like, my dad dropped me off and he was there. He was just like, I was just kind of like, I'm ready. Like, I didn't cry or anything like that. I was just like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm so down to be independent. I was like looking forward to college. I didn't really enjoy high school like most people did. So I enjoyed college like big time. So I didn't have any of those like, oh man. Like, of course I hugged my parents and stuff for their sake. But in mine, I'm like, yo, I'm so ready for this.
So you weren't scared?
I wasn't scared of independence. I'm still not scared of independence. I am scared of growing up.
Like growing older?
Yeah, and it wasn't when I was young. It's right now.
You're scared right now?
Yo, it's smacking me hard, man. I'm 31. I'm like, yo, age. But I wasn't scared of growing up or being independent just because of the fact that, like, I think I give credit to my parents. They taught me a lot of things to be independent. And one thing I loved about my parents and my dad is they don't really give me the fear of growing up. Like, my dad looks at me and goes like, you know, life is not that hard. Like, he talks about just things in general, like things you need to do to grow up. Most people are so scared of that. And I got that mentality from my dad. Like, you know, when I got my license, I remember when I first got my license, I did not study at all, like for my permit, because people
some of us can't do that. Well, I can't do that. But
I guess I came in with such confidence that, because my dad's like, it's easy. So when you come into the mindset that it's easy, it does become easy. My dad always tells me, oh, that's easy. So I was like, okay. And it's funny, when I took my permit test, I failed the first time.
I did too.
But then my brother was like, haha, you failed. So I told my dad, I was like, hey, Pa, can you come pick me up? And he's like, yeah, I'll pick you up. What happened? He's like, oh, I failed. You know, I said I failed. So he was on his way. And then my brother was like, haha, you failed. And I was like, what the heck? I went right back in, took the test for my permit. And then when my dad picked me up, literally that same hour. And once my dad picked me up, he was like, oh, I'm sorry. I was like, no, I was just kidding. I passed.
So he didn't even know that you failed the first time? Or?
No, I told him. Okay. But yeah, I passed. It just helped me that my dad really...
He was like,
I was like, oh, good. You know, you know, him, I guess he made life doesn't seem so hard for me. If anything, it was something I look forward to. What about you?
I was opposite. I was very scared. I'm very scared of being independent. Yeah, like really. And you know that because we're, you know.
Oh, even now?
Yeah. I don't know how some girls do it. Like, kudos to them. I'm like, oh gosh, you're so brave. Like, I watch, you know, like vloggers, YouTubers, and a lot of them live alone and they'll move on their own and settle in a new place they've never been to, even country. Yeah. And they're so independent. And like, I think my sister is more independent than I am, and she's younger than me, 6 years younger.
It's funny you say independence, like moving out. I actually don't want to live alone. Like, I know I'm cool with independence, but I would be like rooming with people. Like, there's no way I'm living alone.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
I'm very dependent on like, now it's towards you. Before it was towards, actually, I would say I think I was a bit more independent when I was a teenager. I don't think I depended on my parents that much, but as I got older, I became more dependent and I became scared of like just like being out there on my own. Yeah. I think it has to do with the fact that as I grew older, I kind of, I guess like my confidence level just went down a lot. But no, I would say it's opposite. But I am really blessed to have you, and you always like, you know, push me to go out there and stuff like that. Growing up, was I scared of growing up? I wasn't scared, but I definitely didn't want to. I'm not like, I wasn't those kids that were like, just, I can't wait to get out of the house or like be a teenager or whatever. Yeah. No, I wanted to be a kid for a long time.
Yeah. If I'm being honest, I looked forward to growing up actually when I was young, but when I grew up, I didn't look forward to it anymore. That's like, I was one of those kids that had like Like if you notice, my 3 of my closest friends are all 3 years older than me.
Yeah.
Because I always wanted to be that
like
older.
See, yeah, there's people like that.
Yeah, but then I was
that.
like, but I mean, I think what helped me, and I guess, this is what the whole podcast is about, is to help young people, young adults, is that, what helped me was my dad saying that life isn't that hard. And I'm not
that
saying
definitely
that.
helps.
And I'm not saying that to belittle life. Like, okay, if we're being...
No, that's not what he was trying to get to. He's just saying, he's not trying to instill fear.
Yeah.
Why?
Because
why does he have to do that? Yeah.
We all know that it's hard already.
Yeah.
So you don't need someone to tell you how hard it is when we're all expecting it to be hard.
Exactly.
You just need somebody to tell you that it's actually not that hard.
Yeah.
As much as you expect it. And that's what my dad did to me. And just to help you out, for those listening, is, young people, life isn't that hard. It really isn't. And I know I get it. There are hardships and along the way. I totally get that. But I'm saying that to you because your basis is you already know it's hard. And I'm just here to tell you it's not that hard.
I read it wasn't a quote, but I was just going through like comments section, in the comment section of Instagram. Mm-hmm. This was a while back. I remember I screenshot it, but I can't remember what the person exactly said. But it was basically like, trials or the things we're scared of are just things that we've yet to overcome. Basically, we think it's hard just because of the fact that we've never experienced it, but it's basically just another thing that's gonna happen and it's gonna pass. We just haven't overcame it yet. And then once we overcome it, we're just like, oh, I mean, yeah, it's done. Yeah. Yeah, so that's what she said. I forgot what she said exactly.
I think it was Pascal Siakam who said that.
I think so.
Wise man.
Man. But I guess with that question, were you scared of growing up? If this person, I don't know who sent it, but if you're, I'm assuming it's a young person.
Yeah.
If you're scared of growing up, definitely I would say enjoy. That's why you should enjoy your childhood, your teenhood, and don't grow up too fast. But also don't look at life thinking that it's so scary and that there's also should the be balance. Scared.
Yeah, there's also the balance. Like, enjoy your childhood, enjoy your teenhood, but there's also don't think like that's it. Like, there's so many things to look forward to. Like, there are some people that literally they really stretch out their senior year or whatever because they seriously think there's nothing more after this. Like, this is it. This is literally the peak of life. But like, there's so much more to look forward to. Like, life is awesome. Yeah. Honestly, there's so much more.
I mean, everybody and I don't know what this person's scared of, but again, it's just part of life. Like, it's really just up and down. But if you look at it in a way where, I can overcome this. This is just an event that is gonna pass. Like, literally, you have to go through it at the moment because there's just no like magical way where you're like, can I just skip this? You can't do that. You just have to go through it. But it is just an event at that moment, and you're gonna pass by it once you know it's done. So anyway,
good question.
Yeah, good question. Next, how can you be there for someone experiencing anxiety?
Ooh. How can you be there for someone experiencing anxiety? I think with anxiety and like depression, just showing your availability, that you're there for them, like your approachability. Because the truth is, when someone goes through anxiety and depression, they kind of don't need you to try to talk to them, to be honest with you.
What do you mean talk to them? Like,
don't try to force talk to them, but be ready because they'll come to you.
Oh, you mean like don't bombard them with like...
Yeah.
Like, hey, talk to me.
Yeah. I mean, maybe a quick word.
So you're saying wait for them to be willing to open up?
I mean, you could say like, hey man, I'm here for you. Like a quick word, but don't bombard them. They need time to heal. They need time, it's like, remember, mental health is the same as like, whatever's going on mentally is the same as your physical health, Like if somebody, let's say, broke a leg, right? is there a time where, let's say you dislocated a finger, is there a time where you like kind of have to, put it back in? Absolutely. But there's also the time of just leave it alone.
Yeah.
It'll heal.
Yeah.
Like leave it alone, it'll heal, and then they'll come to you. Usually that's with us. When we have something broken, we break it, and if we need help, we'll come to you. We'll come to you, doctor. You know what I mean? That's the same thing with mental health. And and just be ready. Look for those signs. If you have a friend that's dealing with depression, anxiety, show your availability, that you're there for them. Try not to trigger. There are some things that trigger that anxiety. And then also just show that like you're ready to be there for them. And they're going to say, and by the way, be very aware of it, because they're not just going to come to you and be like, okay, I need help anxiety. No. It's like they have ways to tell you that they need you.
Yeah, like indirect.
Yeah, it's indirect. Like, like, hey, you want to eat out? Stuff like that. Those are their signs of like, okay, they need me right now. And as a friend, you should try to, be there and be ready, and like, whatever they need, that's it. And it really, like I said, they show it because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to talk, because it's an internal thing. It's embarrassing to go to you like, hey, I'm having depression. Can we talk? Like, no. It's like, hey, man, you want to get coffee one of these days? Like, that's how it's going to be.
They've been bottling it up for so long that once they are ready to talk, they're going to have so much to say. And actually, yeah, and so you need to be willing to just listen. And definitely, if someone's going through like depression or anxiety, kind of like what you said with the triggering, make sure that you don't ever don't ever make them think like it's their fault why they're going through it. And like, oh, you just need to suck it up. Don't ever say things like that. Like, definitely no triggering words, and don't make them feel like it's their fault or they're weak because they're feeling this, because yeah, it is hard.
And by the way, when she says don't make them feel like it's their fault, a lot of times people go through that, they kind of know, or they already have those feelings that it's their fault. It's not the fact that like, oh, you're just trying to make them be passive, tell them not their fault. No, like we go through that. We're like, man, is this my fault? That always goes to our head.
But that moment, they just need comfort. They need somebody to be there for them.
And by the way, I want to thank my wife. She did such a good job when I went through my episodes in my life. I think if there's anyone you should ask about, it's her, because she actually dealt with someone.
What? I don't think I did anything special. Like, honestly, and yeah, I feel like our answers, it's not that special. Like, it's not anything, like it's not like a formula or like a special grand answer, but those things really help. Like, just be present and listen, and just make sure that you're there for that person. Is it possible for doors to open, but it's not God's will?
Oh, I thought this was the doors and wheels debate.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what? Somebody asked? No. Is it possible for doors to be more than wheels? No.
Is it possible for doors to open, but it's not God's will?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Not everything that's going well is actually God's will.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be the devil giving opportunities. Yeah. You think about when Jesus was in the desert. He was tempted to eat. Yeah. And that's not a bad thing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
He needs to eat. It's been 40 days.
Yeah. But he was tempted to eat. And that's like, if Jesus wasn't God and he doesn't know, he would be like, oh, blessings from the Lord. Yeah. But no, Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Good things, those could be, like, it's masked,
Oh, yeah.
Could be masked to look good and look like it's perfect at the time.
Yeah.
What has been a fail for you that others think is a success?
Huh. Well,
do people think it was success? I'm kidding.
I mean, I don't think anyone thinks we're a success anyway. No, I'm just kidding.
Well then, how about let's flip the question. Is there anything that you did that you thought was a success, but then people didn't really, I guess to people's eyes, it's a failure? Or it wasn't even,
Oh yeah. There's a lot. I mean, just like life.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like that's the message of like my life is, people deem me as a failure, but everything I feel like I'm doing is a success.
People.
I mean, not people. There's nobody saying anything. It's more just like it fits the mold of that. If we were being nitpicky, but internally, I'm at peace and I'm happy, so it's a success.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, how do you become confident in yourself or skills even though it seems unreasonable to do so?
Practice. Honestly, practice the skill. Practice it, and then, the confidence comes from the fact that you put in the work. You may not feel like you're better than someone, whether it be sport, in my field, graphic design, but cling on to the fact that like you've put in the work and you've put in the practice.
Mm-hmm.
Cling on to that. And honestly, it's going to be hard. It's almost like courage. In a way, it's almost like courage. Because courage is like, how do you get more courageous? It doesn't just happen. You just got to go for it. God will give you opportunities to be courageous. Yeah. You just go for it. God will give you opportunities to be confident. You just got to go for it. But what can you cling on? Cling on the fact that like you put in the work, you put in the hard work, and you put in the practice, and cling on to that. And also, I think a lot of people with self-confidence issues, they're so used to that in their whole life that when someone compliments them, it doesn't go through their head.
Does that happen to you?
No, not me. But like, I feel like there are people, it does sometimes. Yeah. Many, actually, let me rephrase that. Yes, it does happen to me many times. But like, if we're not careful, it's like, like somebody will say something is nice, but we're only looking at the negatives.
You're talking about me?
Well, no, I mean, I go through that too. You know what I mean? Sometimes we're so used to living so negatively and not accepting the compliments. And, I mean, I feel bad.
I'm just kidding.
I feel bad for like people that do that to people, like, compliment people. But I mean, you're so used to not hearing compliments that it could go either way. It's either when you hear a compliment, you cling onto it. And there are some people that are like that. But there are some people that once they hear a compliment, they just don't believe it.
He's talking about
it's to
me.
The point that, no, I'm not even talking about you. It's like, I'm going to take, but they hear that compliment and they just go, I don't believe him. And you just cling on to the negatives and negatives and negatives. And it's like, wait, what about the compliment that you received? Like the reason you received the compliment, and don't belittle like, my mom said it. Okay. Or like, my sister said it. Okay. Cling on to that because that will give you that confidence boost that you need, because it's weird. It kind of feeds itself. When you cling on to that, yes, you get confident. And sometimes you may not actually be that good at it, but your confidence makes you be good at it. And then it feeds your skill, and then your skill feeds your confidence, and your confidence feeds your skill. That's how it is. It's like it feeds each other. But you're going to take that initial first step and just be like, you know what? I'm going to work hard. I'm going to practice hard, and I'm going to cling on to that. And if somebody compliments me, I'm going to take that as a sign that like, hey, I'm doing something. I'm doing something right. So I'm going to keep going. It's like this podcast. Are there times that I'm discouraged with it? Sure. Are there times that I feel like I'm not doing a good job with it? Sure. But I'm getting compliments and I cling on to that. And I'm thankful for all of you that have listened to my podcast and that have commented and said something. I'm super, super grateful. And it's what keeps me going, really. Even though like, failures happen. It's what keeps me going. By the way, we do have a guest for the next episode.
Yeah, it's not going to be me, guys. Don't worry.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he's a black belt. Oh. Thank you for listening. I guess it's thank you guys for, responding to my stories. Thank you guys for encouraging me. I guess I want to hear from you. If you guys have any success stories that you want to share, just put it in the comments below. If you have any successes, and I read all the comments, and there's not a lot, but I don't care if we get like 100 comments, I'll read all of them. I want to see you guys. I want to be happy with you. Talk about like the good things that are going on with your life right now. You just got a job. I got into college, something like that. Those are great things. I want to hear those things. And if you guys have anything like that, go ahead and comment it down below. And yeah, I think that's it.
whether you think it's big or small, like
Yeah.
whatever it is, man, a win for the day is a win for the day.
That's right. And it could be something really small. And by the way, if you're, we're talking about the failed podcast and living life successfully, and we talk about successes, a lot of the theme is success is peace. How you could be at peace is having a paradigm shift in your life.
Yeah.
And how you can have that paradigm shift in your life is looking for the blessings in your life, whether it be small.
Yeah.
Just look for those wins.
Yeah, it could be like, oh my gosh, I've been waiting, for today to eat my favorite food, and finally the day came.
Cling on to those things. When life gets hard, cling on to those things.
And I think we definitely need to cling on to those little things, just because, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, with everything that's going on, life is getting harder. It is. So
gas be expensive.
We really need to just enjoy every little, whatever quote unquote little wins that we have each day.
And if you guys know of anybody that not needs, but you think could be helped with this podcast, whether it be the previous episodes, doesn't even have to be me. It could be somebody that I interviewed. I would love for them to hear that. Go ahead, send this to them. And we'd love for your support. If you're listening to this podcast, you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. That would be really helpful. And follow me on Twitter at James_Abrot1030. Follow me on Instagram at JamesAbrot. And follow me on TikTok at James Abrot. Buy my book at Amazon. And the reason why I say all these things, honestly, it's not so that I could be rich, not so I can have a lot of money. Really, I say all these things because I really want this YouTube to be self-sustaining, this podcast to be self-sustaining, because at the end of the day, I love helping people. For those of you that actually know me, you know that I love helping people, and I'm always willing to talk. So if you can, that would be wonderful to subscribe. And look out for some content coming soon with the Money Chasers. And in the words of Jerry White, I'm out.
Yee.